Hey guys, I'm back in my own house and I just finished installing this board and batten wainscot in my basement bathroom. For this project, I used arrow fasteners, 18 gauge nail gun, and 1.5 inch nails for practically the whole project. So a big thank you to Arrow Fasteners for sponsoring this project and supporting what I do.
I first removed all the baseboards. Then I attached a 1/8 inch tempered hardboard to the walls. This creates a smooth panel inside the frame that I will attach next. The frame is made up of strips of 1/2 inch MDF that I ripped on my table saw. The width of the center and bottom rails vary, but the rest of the pieces are 2.5 inches wide. My baseboards are 5.5 inches tall. I installed the bottom rail at 8 inches off the floor because I wanted 2.5 inches to project above the baseboards. I had to work around some plumbing for the toilet. I created a notch for the water line, and I'll come back later and fill in a circular frame behind that pipe flange to make it look more intentional. I used a laser level to project my lines around the perimeter of the room so all my rails were lined up with each other as well as level. After installing the bottom and top rails, I filled in the side stiles. I left a 1/2 inch gap behind inside corners so both stiles were completely visible. Outside corners, I simply attached one edge over the other. This way, all the stiles are uniform 2.5 inches wide. The center rail is 4.5 inches wide. I made it wider simply so it could hold towel hooks. The long wall I broke up into sections. Again, using my laser as a guide, I lined up and attached the center stiles. I added scraps to support the bottom of the baseboards, and there's my pipe flange support. At this point, I primed everything, then spent a lot of time sanding, filling, and sanding some more. I like to knock down the edges so they're not sharp, and I generally do this by hand. While the wood filler was drying, I attached a scrap at the top of the wainscot to push forward the trim I was going to use. I sanded all the filler and looked for any imperfections to fix before painting. This is really an important step because paint augments imperfections. Before painting, I attached the top trim piece. Because it's backed by a piece of MDF, I will make sure to completely seal the seams with caulk before painting. I used acrylic latex plus silicone caulk to seal every seam before painting. The ceiling drywall was recently repaired and is waiting to receive texture, so I'll come back later to paint the ceiling and walls. After caulking, I brought in my airless sprayer and applied 2 coats of semi-gloss paint to the wainscot. In the other room, on sawhorses, I also sprayed the crown molding and baseboards. When the baseboards and crown are already painted, I just have to fill and touch up the nail holes. I find that easier than cutting in to protect the adjacent surfaces, like the ceiling, which by now has been painted.
Very inexpensive project and made a big impact on the look of this bathroom. And big thank you to Arrow Fasteners for sponsoring this project and supporting me. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.